Hi guys, my name is Carmen and this is the first time that I'm making a YouTube video because a lot of people were asking me how I actually make this DIY glass ornament that I use heat embossing on. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try and make a YouTube video. We'll see how that goes. So we're gonna start off with materials. First thing is obviously you need your glass ball. I bought them from Michael's. And heat embossing powders is also very important. Today I'm going to use the gold powder. So if you can see here, it is, make sure that if you want like a really smooth types of embossing powders at the end, you would probably want to make sure that you're getting the detail embossing powder. And I'm going to be using gold. There are different kinds that they have. I don't know if I can find it quickly for you to see. I actually do have another type that is a turquoise color, but you can see that this one is called the embossing powder opaque sparkles. It's not going to show up as smoothly, but you can actually feel the different texture on it. It actually turned out nice too, but today I'm going to use the gold one. So this is the one that I use. This is actually my favorite kind. I've tried different ones and I find that this line that I can buy from Michael's, it actually comes up really smoothly gold. And because sometimes when I use the embossing pen, which is right here, this is the best one that I have encountered so far. It's by Rangers. It's called the Emboss It pen. I find that like when I use the marker on the glass, what happened is sometimes there are other kind of gold powder that I've used ended up when I actually heat it up. Some of the black stuff starts showing up and I didn't like that. So I find that this time has like almost like the most adhesive one to this pen, the slow drying pen. And that it actually is a really smooth melting and I really like that. Okay, so I already mentioned the embossing pen. And so other stuff that you would need would be pencil, brushes. So I had a flat one and also a round brush that I've included because you actually need to dust away any powder that you don't want on it. Now this thing. This is the most important one for me in making glass, embossing on glass. So basically the concept of embossing is that you would use these pen. These are called the slow drying ink. And when you put on whatever the surface that you would use, because it's slow drying, what happened is you would then sprinkle these embossing powder, and it would actually stick to the part that is still not dry yet. And so the whole point is, so whatever part you marked these will stick to them. And when you pour them out, what happened is the part that you didn't draw on should not stick to the powder. And then you just melt it. And then it'll be whatever part that you wrote on would have these beautiful gold melted powder all over them. But the problem is glass is very staticky. Okay. And when they get static, even though the part that you didn't put the ink on will actually still have some powder that's stuck on it and you want to brush it away. But sometimes when it gets so static that it actually will take you like an hour just to brush out the powder because you're done this one side, you brush it off, but then it gets stuck on the other side and is super annoying. So I watch a lot of YouTube video to try to research on it. I believe what's inside this package that you can buy, it's actually cornstarch. I actually did try to make my own, but I was not successful on it because I don't have a pouch that has fine enough linen that only let out a little bit of the cornstarch. So I did have to order them from Amazon for $8, which is fine, but it also has to be an add-on. So you have to buy at least $25 of other product before I can buy this $8 add-on. But it's worth my time because with the number of ornaments that I was making, it did save me a lot of time. So I think that $8 was very worth it. So this is called the Inca Stamping Tools Coloring and Embossing Magic. So unfortunately, I have lost the package, so you can't really see what the original package looked like. But I'll try to link below underneath at the description so that you can actually check it out. It really helped because once you've actually smoothed it over your ornament, the static is a lot better, like so much better that it saved me a lot of time. Okay, so the next thing that I will need will be glitter. I did like a mixture of different color as well as different texture. So I have these really fine ones. So I usually like to put a little bit that are really fine. A lot of neutral, so gold and blue and the clear ones are kind of my neutral that would go in. But then I would always kind of add one accent color. So today I'm going to be using turquoise blue. But you can use different ones, right? It depends on if you want to do it for guys or for girls, for kids, or it depends on what they like, right? Okay. So now we're gonna clean this up and we're gonna get started. That I would suggest you to do is just do a quick sketch of what you would like to write on the ornament ball. Okay, so this is gonna be for this gentleman called Richard. I'm just gonna quickly write out how I would like it to hand letter his name on. And we're gonna put the year down right underneath. People with like a single word that goes on the ornament is not as bad, but like I find that, so one time I was doing it for a couple and both of the names were super long. I find that me writing it out really helps me kind of like work together how they're gonna go. And one thing is later on I'm gonna kind of talk about if you really made a mistake on glass ornament. I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but when I'm hand lettering, I find that because I'm writing so slow, I tend to make a lot more spelling mistakes. Like the words that are so obvious, like with, I would spell wrong. Thing, I would spell wrong. So I'm definitely going to show you how we can actually change or clean a mistake that we've made so that we don't waste like a glass ornament. Okay, so that's the one. So I'm going to put it at the side so that I can see what my design will be. And then we're going to go straight to the ornament. Okay. So as I was saying, so you first need to start off with the embossing buddy. That's what, if you actually Google embossing buddy, you can actually find them. Okay, so people sometimes even use it when they make cards, just so that it just minimize all the static that you want. So I'm just gonna kind of go all over the whole ornament, even though I will not be lettering on the whole ornament. I just would like to do that. Okay. So once that's all done and it's ready to go, I'm gonna start lettering on it. So these are called full calligraphy. It's like even though you're just using a pen that has one thickness, you can actually add different thickness in it to make it look like it's thicker. And so basically, anytime you write downwards, you kind of almost want to double it up or sometimes even more. Because this is a large size ball, we can actually make it a bit thicker if we want. I didn't warm up today. I should have. Every time when I'm drawing on an ornament or like making any work piece, I actually usually like to warm up first because I actually find my wordings a little bit crooked today. And then I'm going to write the years kind of at the bottom. I always write the name first because you want to try to keep the year kind of right in the middle. So 2007, 17 I mean. Okay, so now this part is done. I'm just gonna put it here. Actually, I'm going to just take my wonderful stand and masking tape. Just because I've written on it, I have to make sure that I don't roll it around. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna put the powder. I know just now I said that this is the powder that we're going to be using, right? The recollection, but notice the can is empty because I find that it's a pain when every time I need to pour the powder back in. So what I've done is I've actually put it into like a box, like a plastic box, my Ziploc plastic box, sorry. Okay, and I put a plastic spoon in it. And so what we do now is we're going to just sprinkle them on. And notice that, like, you can tell, like, the gold are really adhesive to just the part that is the ink part. I know there's a little bit that are on the part that is not, but that's okay. We're going to take them off afterwards. You want to make it really clean and crisp so that when it dries, you don't leave, like, gold dots everywhere that you don't intend it to be. It could be your design, but I just find that if you kind of take the time to take it out, it's better. Alright, so I also like to do it a couple of times, sprinkle them on a couple of times, just to make sure that, like, I covered all of them and it's going to be a nice and thick layer that is stuck to the words. Okay, I'm going to just kind of gently tap it. Don't go too hard. I actually did one time punch right through and all the glass pieces broke all over the embossing powder box, and that was not good. Okay, so the next thing, I'm just going to get that brush. And I'm going to brush off anything that I notice that are kind of stuck on the side that I don't want. So be patient with this step. Sometimes if you want it to be a real fine detail, just go ahead and use that super fine. So I actually use a number 4 round brush. It's a watercolor brush made of synthetic hair, so it's not going to ruin. Don't use your good watercolor brush because you're going to ruin it. You just brush them off as much as I could. Alright, so I think this is pretty good. Just gonna do one more last big brush. And if you accidentally brush off things that you don't intend to, like say if I go too hard and I brush off like the D, all you have to do is just go back to the box, pour some in again, and then just fix it up. It's not an issue at all. Okay, so now this is, I feel like this is almost done. I'm just gonna put it back into my masking tape row. And now we're going to use our heat gun. Okay, at the tool area, I forgot to mention, this is the one that I bought. This is from American Crafts called Seth. I was Googling and I did find 2 brands that were highly recommended. The first one is the Martha Stewart, and then the other one is this one. But the price difference is $10. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go with the $22 from Amazon.ca. I'm a Canadian-based artist, so all the price that I talk about are Canadian price. 22, and then it was 32 for the Martha Stewart for that time. That was when I first purchased it. I don't know what price it is now, but I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna go for the cheaper one because I don't know how often I'm gonna use it. Who knew that I would be making so many glass ornaments? But I felt that this is a $22 well spent. I really, really like this one. Alright, so I'm going to start heating this. Just be very careful. The glass balls do get really, really hot. And so just don't burn yourself. It does sometimes need some heating up, like some heat up. But I usually just leave it right there. Alright, so that's done. So another thing that's very important is make sure you let it dry. Let it cool down. I think this one didn't do very well, so I'm just going to heat it up a little bit more. That's a great thing about these gold embossing powder that I'm talking about. So these gold embossing powder by Recollections, I find that it actually will melt really smooth and shiny. Like I won't have like dots and stuff. And the black ink, so if you actually turn to the back, you can actually see the embossing ink. See how it's black, but it doesn't show up at all at the front. Okay, so that's what the ball look like. So the next step is we're gonna add some glitter in it so you can see what it looks like. Now I've opened kind of like the little cap here and used a paper as a funnel. I don't like to use plastic funnels because it's too staticky, but you can tell, right? Like see all the glitters that are inside. It makes it really, really, really nice. Okay, and then so what I then do is I make a nice little gift tag with their name on and find a cute little box, put some nice little string on it. So I made a little name tag for him. And this is going to be the box that it's going to go in. It's a nice little package. It's super simple, but it makes it a really, really nice gift for Christmas. And I hope Richard will like this ornament, and I hope you enjoy the video. If you do like my video, as I said, this is the first one. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be making more videos to kind of just talk about my learning process for my hand lettering and different craft idea that we can use, and hopefully that I can teach you a bit, and show you a little bit of interesting things that we can do with our hobby.